You're listening to Rise Above, a Rogers Behavioral Health podcast, where we sit down with Rogers experts who are changing the way the world views mental health and addiction. Yay, those sleigh bells can only mean one thing. The holiday season is upon us. Now, when I think holidays, I think of warm, fuzzy memories and all the joy that comes along with it. I'm just kidding. I think about how stressful it can all be for me and my family. We've got to get costumes ready for Halloween. Then I got to figure out Thanksgiving, got to figure out dinner, got to figure out who's coming, where we're going, all that stuff. Then, with my family, we worry about Christmas. I know not everyone worries about Christmas. There's many different holidays to celebrate. But we worry about Christmas, which means, for me, it means making sure there's gifts under the tree and also making sure we get to the places we need to be when we're supposed to be there, making sure we, keep up all of our holiday traditions, things like that. And there's a lot going on. And I know I'm not the only one. So, to help me and some of you listeners out there manage the unique stress that comes with the holidays, I'm sitting down with Dr. Heather Jones, Vice President of Clinical Services for Rogers Behavioral Health. Dr. Jones, thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you so much for having me again.
So, okay, we always think about the holidays as like a stressful time, but what are some common reasons for that? What makes the holiday season so stressful?
The holidays can elicit some complex emotions, I think, where there's a lot of expectations during the holidays. There can be financial strain for families during the holidays. Family dynamics are always a fun one. Sometimes we're spending lots of time with family, and sometimes the holidays are time where we spend maybe more time with family or a family that we typically don't see. Mm-hmm. And I think that also there's social obligations, parties, work gatherings, community gatherings, and so it can feel like a lot.
It can make you anxious.
It can certainly elicit some anxiety. Absolutely.
So what can you do to help manage it? Manage the anxiety, that is.
Yeah, so what I recommend is sometimes when we're anticipating participating in some of these events or going to the family get-together or the work party, we're thinking about all the possible scenarios and what if this happens and what if that happens. And so there's really basic things we can do day of leading up to. And that's practicing relaxation strategies, taking some deep breaths, making sure that we're exercising and setting realistic expectations for ourselves. There's a lot of perfectionism woven through holiday time and being able to think through what that event could look like and pre-planning, or we sometimes call it pre-coping, can be a really great way to problem solve before the event.
And during the event, I know oftentimes, not with me, but I've heard that extended families, sometimes they can get a little personal and they can ask questions and things that maybe you don't really want to share with them. How can you set healthy boundaries with your relatives?
That's a great question. And I think one of the hardest things to do, right? These are long-standing relationships that can span decades, and we can pre-plan and pre-cope and prep for situations. And so I will say 3 things. 1, being assertive and expressing your needs. Does that mean that you need to stay engaged in conversations that are uncomfortable and feeling pressured to show up and stay the whole night? No, you can absolutely set expectations for yourself and your family and communicate those to other members of your family. Prioritizing self-care. I've also given the recommendation that just sometimes taking breaks, walking outside, stepping out of the room, disengaging from the situation and coming up with a plan with your with your family or for yourself on what you're willing to commit to. Am I going to go to all the things? Am I going to say, this is what I'm willing to do? You know, we're going to come to the aunt's house for 2 hours and then we're going to go because we have other obligations, and being able to communicate those proactively is typically helpful.
And also, I guess when you're speaking about relatives, the holidays, you can be reminded of people that are no longer with us.
Mm.
And so a lot of times that comes with a lot of grief or sadness. And are there ways or tips that you can share on how to alleviate that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I'll challenge that a little bit and say maybe it's not about alleviating it, but feeling those
Mm,
feelings and honoring that grief and honoring that loss. And maybe it's taking some time out and carving some time out to do something special and different, create a new routine or this like brings me back to Frozen, right? Like creating a new tradition
mm.
and doing that with your family or the people that you're close to, especially if the holidays can be a time of mixed emotion.
Right. And, you're creating new traditions, but you're also trying to do all of the old traditions. All of a sudden, you've got a full plate of things for like the whole month of December.
Hmm.
What can you do if you're feeling overwhelmed about that?
So I would say prioritize, set limits, and I mentioned this before, take breaks. So what are the situations, the invitations, the social events that are most important? And I would take it a step further, but most in line with your value system. Sometimes you would mention like obligated. I feel
Mm,
obligated to go
right,
to this
right.
thing. And is there either something, maybe I am obligated if it's a work event, but is there some part of it that I can participate in a way that's in alignment with my values and the things that are important to me? And set limits. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Kind of sit in that for a little bit and taking some breaks, not staying for the whole time,
Right.
showing up, practicing gratitude, being present and available, and then going home early and going to bed.
Oh yeah, that's of course. I look forward to going home early and going to bed during the holiday season.
That's right. That's right.
So as a parent, I know I get stressed out about gift giving, right? You got
Mm.
first off, I've got to make sure that the kids they get the same amount of gifts. Do they have enough gifts? All of that stuff. And next thing you know, it's the week of Christmas and you're still worried about it. Uh, how can you deal with that sort of stress? And then also the financial burden, for some people, obviously that is a big stress as well. How can you handle that?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your reflection because as a parent who has overdone it and fallen victim to some of that anxiety, I I think planning is a huge piece. Planning, having a budget and be willing to stick to that budget. Sometimes parents squirrel things away all across the
Oh, I
course of the
should have
year,
done that. I
right?
should have done that.
I know. Well, and then December comes, and then I'm like, wow, where did all of this come
Oh,
from?
okay. Well, that's a decent problem to have, I think.
I think setting expectations, and I think there are really great ways to set expectations and help model for children how to be balanced and participate in holiday times in a way that isn't so stressful. And so some of that might be saying we're going to do one big gift, or we're going to do small gifts and we're going to pick out something that maybe we donate or give to a different family. And so we practice maybe a time of gratitude, leaning into the holiday time where it's about giving and receiving gifts, and gifts don't always have to have a tremendous monetary value. Gifts can be things we make or things that we do for other people. Easier
It's that
said than done, but
it's the thought that counts thing, right?
right, right. And especially for younger, I think elementary age kids, the sooner we start with those conversations and that being part of the tradition, the easier it gets when they get older and want really expensive, very expensive gifts.
And then here I am as an adult, and truly it's the thought that counts. Like you get something and you're like,
It
wow.
is.
And then you feel terrible because there's no way I could possibly put that much thought into anything.
Right, setting reasonable expectations. This is your point. It makes this time challenging because if I feel motivated to do something kind for someone because I feel a sense of gratitude towards them, and it's not like these things can only happen in December. They could theoretically happen in April or
Well,
September.
that's when you get the gift and then you squirrel it away. So that
That's right. That's right. Good
should have
point.
done that. I should have done that. And we will be right back. Real quick, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about WISE, the Initiative for Stigma Elimination. It unites people across the nation to support those touched by mental illness and addiction. The compassionate approach champions personal stories and powerful connections, fostering healing by reducing stigma through evidence-based practices. Rogers Behavioral Health supports the work of WISE through their Community Learning and Engagement Department. WISE collaborates with a diverse network of organizations and individuals united in the fight against stigma. You can learn more about WISE, explore their 4 key programs, and connect with them by visiting the website www.eliminatestigma.org. And now back to the interview. So you talked about creating new holiday traditions earlier. What are there things you want to think about when you're doing them to make sure that they're like fulfilling and that they create the memories that you desire, I guess?
Hmm. I would start back at the value, back with our values. What are things that are important to me? What are the things that are important to members of my family? And I've talked to families who have asked their kids, like what is something that you want to do, or what is something, and they make a schedule of doing those things and do them together. And maybe one child is like, I don't want to do that. That's dumb, but
Right.
being together and doing the activities together and limiting it. It doesn't have to be a ton. I think the expectation piece again, um, social media has been, I think, challenging for families in this sense because not everybody's picture with Santa and the hot chocolate and the cute blanket that we're cuddled up in, and they all look like idyllic moments, but just keeping in mind that everybody is doing the best that they can
Right.
every moment of the day, and spending time together and taking care of each other is the most important.
Yeah, the social media and the picture perfect has certainly added to the stress and to the
Mhm.
uh well, okay. So we get Halloween, next thing you know it's Thanksgiving, next thing you know it's Christmas, New Year's, and then it's over, and then you realize maybe you didn't really embrace it as much as you wanted to, I guess. Uh, how can you stay present in all of that, and how can you, I mean, stay present in the moment during such a stressful time?
The first thing that comes to mind is to set your phones down. So we talk about being present, we talk about being in the same room together, whether it's an obligation or not. But I think there are so many times when we are gathering together in community and everyone is sitting in a room together scrolling through their phone.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my first recommendation. And having some activities planned and unplanned. I talked to somebody recently who is going on a trip and they're a planner, but they said, I also want I want the opportunity or the option to do multiple different things. And so coming up with um, maybe some lists of things that we can do together as a family or do together as a group of friends, and kind of let the day take us where it will, and and not, I think that helps alleviate some of the expectation around these events as well.
So we've talked about curbing the expectations of children about, gift giving and things like that. How do you do it with maybe parents or, aunts, uncles, other loved ones, other family members? How do you deal with the stress that they might inadvertently put on you during the holiday season?
That's a great question, and one that can be challenging to manage, especially when there's a misalignment of values, might be too strong of a statement, but when you have evolved and are evolving as a family, and your family of origin may have held different values or priorities
Or even traditions, right?
or traditions, absolutely. And so sharing, communicating what you're doing as a family, because typically it's not the thing, it's it's the feeling or intention underneath it, right? You're going to see Santa, right? Or, oh, you're going to the hot chocolate event, whatever it is.
Yep, sure.
And I think the communication about this is what we are doing as a family, and this is why. And it's really important to us as a family to, um, be safe or be together or do the activity during a time that works for everyone. Or our family wants to spend time with our children's friends, and so we're doing this so they can build this memory with their friends. And offering opportunities to, if it's important to that loved one, to bake cookies. My mom is a cookie baker, and
Yeah, right.
so having the time and offering the opportunity to come over and do it. I am not going to bake the cookies because that is just not
I
my thing.
I will provide the kitchen.
That's right. That's right. I will buy the chocolate chips. That's right.
So we've talked a lot about holiday traditions. Do you have favorite holiday traditions?
This time of year, one of my favorite things to do is have lots of candles and lights. So I am an early string of lights hanger upper because it's getting darker, and
Right.
so I love the glow of having holiday lights in our house all over. So I'm probably putting the tree up a little earlier than most because I like the extra light in the house.
Is it before Thanksgiving?
It might be. It might
Oh my
be.
gosh, is it really? It's pretty early. Well, thank you so much for joining me again. I look forward to the next time. And yeah, thank you.
Likewise. And happy holidays as
So
we
many.
move through them.
Well, thank you for teaching me how to get through them gracefully.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel a little better about these holidays. I mean, obviously, they won't be stress-free. I probably should have been planning this gift giving thing all year long. I've certainly missed the cutoff on that, but I'll get through, and I hope you do too. Thank you so much for listening. Like and subscribe, and as always, if you or someone you know is struggling, Rogers can help. Visit rogersbh.org to learn more, or call 1-800-767-4411 for a screening. Until next time, this is Andy Meadow here at Rogers Behavioral Health.